everyone, welcome back to Rolling Soul. My name is Adam Smith. We're going to continue our campaign playthrough of HEXplore It, the Valley of the Dead King. Alright, so we are in the land here, way up here in this particular location, and we're right on top of the black market. That's where we had left off in the last video. First off, I want to thank all of you guys for your amazing feedback so far. I got a couple corrections I want to cover before we move forward. The first one is I'm going to be going ahead and revealing the northwest tile. So as you can see, we ended our movement right around an area here where we could have actually gotten into a hex, and I should have done that actually when we were originally landed on this location, as we should have actually revealed a tile right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now so that we know what is in that area. Alright, so it looks like we found some more runes in this area, as well as a road, a river, some mountains, and the L tile. I don't know if we have any particular quests currently that have the L on it. I'm just scanning over here and I'm not seeing any. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and put this tile in play. Now, as all hex tiles placed in the game, you are allowed to orient it however you'd like. So we can put this in a way that's going to be to our advantage. So I would like to have the runes as close to me as humanly possible. So I'm going to flip it like this. And I think that's a good, decent orientation right there. So now we've got that whole section filled out. This map's really starting to fill out on that western side. So now that we've got that particular one resolved, the second correction I want to make is 1 gold is how much it costs to heal in a city or black market in total to heal all of our heroes. It's not 1 per player. So basically the Tempest can gain a gold back. So Tempest is going to go ahead and do that, which is our summoner. So she's going to go ahead and gain 1 gold back, which is actually going to put her back to 14, because we ended off at 13 last time. So I'm just going to quickly go ahead here. I'm going to make that correction real fast. We're going to erase the 13, erase the 14, and then quickly just slot in 14 gold. There we go. So that's not bad. We got lots and lots of gold. So now we can actually begin the playthrough for part number 5. So in the last video, I left you guys off with a choice, and that choice had to do with the black market, where we had a lot of different items that we could have picked up. And as you can see here, we go through a number of different ones, and all of them have a really great benefit to them in most cases. But it really came down to the bottom two. It seemed like the majority of comments were focusing in on the Enhancifier or the Stave of Dragons. So really it comes down to this particular choice. Now, I'm very, very, very tempted, because it's relatively early on in the game, I believe, to go after the one that would allow me to earn more gold, which would be the Enhancifier. Now, if this was the case, we're only going to have to spend 10 gold per hero in order to get this. And if we get this prize creation, and when a hero earns gold, they now earn twice as much. This item affects the entire group, only 1 available per game. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to spend 10 gold on each character, because we do have 10 gold, in order to acquire this. I just really think this is going to come in super handy. So we're going down, just so you guys know, this was 11. There was a 12 scratched out from a prior cost there. So we're going to go down to 1 gold. Now, one thing we want to be sure of here and thinking about, as well as food. So food right now I'm maxed out for my guardian, so that's good. And then if I come over here to the summoner's also maxed out as well, so that's also good. But I'm going to be losing 10 gold, so this is basically going down to 4. I guess I could have just erased the 1, but I wanted to make you guys suffer a little bit. So we're going to go ahead here and start off our turns. This is going to begin the next round of the game. So we're going to have to decide where we want to go and what we want to do. The black markets. Now, again, you guys might be wondering, why are you doing the black market stuff right now and all that kind of stuff? Well, that's because I left that up to you guys to help me decide, because we're still inside of the black market currently. So one thing I want to make mention of is the fact that we have now gained this Enhancifier. So what we're going to do here is, in order to mark this down so we don't miss it, we're going to go to our battle mat here, and right here you can see the Enhancifier is one of the really important items. So we are going to now acquire that one, which is going to give us double gold going forward. That's really going to start hopefully helping us to increase how much gold we are gaining. So now that we've defeated the Bandit Prince and we've got a little bit of experience under our belts, we've gotten a little stronger, we do have a whole row of quests here that we can basically go on. So the question is, which one would be the most, the most helpful? Something that gains gold wouldn't be a bad idea, because we could really go crazy. So if we went for this bounty here that we were talking about from before, we could go after this particular one here, which is marked as number 2, the downside being that it's way the heck down here, which is nowhere near us. So I wonder if there's a quest we can do up in this area that then will somehow take us close to this area, like we can kind of loop around maybe or something. What was happening over here again? This one was an Elven Scout has been sent to the area. Did we start this one, if I remember correctly? Investigate a wolf pack, obtain the Scout's report, and bring it back to the city. This was on C. And C is right here. So it was sitting right here. So we could do this. And then what we don't know is what the second quest will be once we get the success on Navigate. Now our Navigate skills over here for the summer is a 3. Coming over here to the Guardian, it is a 4. So we're not bad. We have a decent chance at hitting that. Maybe by heading that direction, we could get, you know, that's not a bad idea because this quest arc would be quite the bundle of things to, oh, there you go. There you go. Yep, we should go after that quest arc because it's an 8 coin plus a power card. And remember, we cannot cash this into a city until the whole quest arc is completed. So let's do this. I think this will be fun. So we obviously want to get to this location right here. So we are currently starting our turn off here and we want to move from here. So let's go ahead and head down to that question mark. So it's going to be 4 spaces away. So we can't move cautiously in this particular situation. We're going to have to move normally. So if we go ahead and move normally, we can move at a rate of 5 because of our reliable mounts, and we're going to have to roll all of our skill checks when we do this. So I'm okay with that. We're going to head 1, 2, 3, 4 to this area. Now the other thing to keep in mind, guys, is that eventually we want to go ahead and hit a shrine. And I want to take a quick look to show you guys exactly what's on those shrines again, because I want to remind us of some things that we could potentially pick up there going into a future turn. So, because one of the things we really need to get at some point is a talisman. So, as you can see here, if we go to the shrine, once we get down to the talisman portion of it, it says this item is used to free a fallen city. And then, of course, you got to go through there. You can only get 1 per shrine, and it's 4 gold per hero. So we still need to kind of accomplish some things. We could have not bought something from the black market and headed right to a shrine to get the talisman in order to go to this fallen city. But you know what? Tough. But you know what? This particular advantage by giving us double gold going forward, I think is really going to pay off and will help us, I think, in the long run. I think it's a smart choice. So we're going to go ahead here. We're moving down, and because we moved down to that particular location, we now have to do what we know we need to do, which is our skill checks. So we're going to go ahead and we're rolling all of our skills because we're choosing to move normal and end our turn on a quest. So we're going to go ahead for the Guardian here, do a roll. And we got a hex, a 7, and a 3. Okay, so we'll put all those aside here, and then we'll resolve the next roll over here for the Summoner. Hoping for good things. Hey, those are nice and low. I might have just succeeded on everything. I did. I matched. That's incredible. Check this out. I think you guys will enjoy this. Look at this. Boom, boom, and boom. Successes on all 3 dice. And they all just were successes. That's craziness. Okay, well, the Summer's going to have a good day here. So we've now traveled down to this portion of the map, which is still in the C tile. We are aiming for this particular spot right here, which we'll deal with in a second. But first, let's go through all of our skill checks. So the very first thing is Navigate. Did we pass our Navigate? Yes, we passed our Navigate with flying colors. We successfully did it with the Guardian, and we also successfully did it with the Summoner, but we also rolled a Hex while doing it. And when you roll a Hex, you save the group from getting lost, and so you don't wander. Now, we already know because we have this wonderful astrolabe, and I want to make sure everyone knows this because a couple comments made it seem like we need to focus on not wandering. I want you guys to know that while we carry this particular item, we can choose to ignore any wander result. So we still apparently we still have to roll for the wander result, but we can choose to ignore it if we don't like it. So actually, at times, this could actually help us wander 1 step further. So there's actually an advantage to that, which is kind of cool. So we'll put that back. And we do have 2 uses for its other use. It says you can go ahead, item is constructed like no other astrolabe you've ever seen. And I think it says, if I'm not mistaken, in addition, this item may be used twice per game in order to grant the group an extra movement and event phase. So if we want to speed things up or do 2 things in 1 turn, that type of thing, we can use that. But once we've used it, we can never use that special wandering advantage ever again. So I'm kind of being a little bit tight-fisted on when we use that. So we are here. We're going to continue going through our skill checks. So explore is next, which would be the gold die. So we failed miserably on that. We needed a 3 for the guardian and we got a 7, so no gold there. But the summoner was lucky and found a 4, which means 2 gold. But because we're getting double gold now, that means my gold goes to 8 from 4. So that's pretty cool. So this is already starting to pay off, and you can see that our characters are going to get substantially richer much quicker. All right, so we're going to move on to the survival die, and as you can see, we got a perfect 3 on this one, which means we won't have to consume any food, and you guys already know the summoner has passed it with a 2, and so perfect. We don't have to consume any food at all. And that's going to resolve this skill portion. That's fantastic. So we went ahead and we have ended our turn on a quest. And so we're going to move forward with the next phase. So the next phase will be this circumstance phase, and that's because we didn't end our turn on a shrine, a ruin boss, or a city. So we're going to have to go ahead here and roll our hex die in order to figure out what of these circumstances up here in this top row are the ones we're going to have to deal with. So let's go ahead and roll a die here. We got ourselves a 2. Okay, so what is number 2? That is going to be the helpful commoner. That sounds nice. Sounds like something we like to hear. Let's see what this is all about. So the helpful commoner. You're saved, or you've saved a commoner from certain death, and they mean to repay you. The group gains -1 to all skill roll results while helping commoner remains in the group, or helpful commoner remains in the group. This bonus affects any skill roll. The commoner becomes a target in combat and attacks each turn. Interesting. Keep this card until you return to a city. If the helpful commoner is still alive, you'll gain double the rewards for each quest you turn in. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. What great timing. So we're going to put this up here in this area, and as long as we can keep this guy alive, he's going to become a target during combat. So what we might want to do is try to avoid combat for now, and maybe try to resolve a quest as quickly as possible. Hopefully we can... Could you imagine if we could complete this quest arc and then have the helpful commoner still alive? That plus with our gold bonus, this could be a very lucrative turn for us. And I shouldn't say it can happen in one turn, but it would be fantastic if it could turn out that way. We still have to replenish this circumstance area up here. So we got a weather card. So this is actually the second nature card we have here. But again, they don't activate until we actually pull them. So I'll just go ahead and place that right there. And now we're going to move forward with the event. So we're going to go ahead to attempt to complete a quest. So we're going to read our quest card here, and of course we know we're going after this one right here. And so let's read this again. So it says, an elven scout has been sent to the area to investigate signs of a storm wolf pack. Obtain the scout's report and bring it back to the city. Okay, so it says here Beastmaster. If a Beastmaster, now this is the optional thing, I think. Maybe, I could be wrong. But if a Beastmaster is currently in play and completes this quest, roll 10 side dice. So basically, if we happen to have a Beastmaster, which we don't, but this is obviously one of the races in the game, I'm assuming. So we don't have this, so we won't be able to do this last portion. But we can go ahead and try to get our success on the Navigate card in order to complete this particular quest. So let's go ahead and roll our green die and hope to gain a success on our Navigate. So our Navigate skill again for the Guardian is a 4, and we're going to get a 4. Man, we are getting the rolls we need, and I just knocked that over. So we got a success, and that's all we need. I don't even need to roll for the Summoner's Navigate check. We've already succeeded at this. So this is actually now completed. So with this one completed, I have to double check because maybe I haven't revealed this one because I haven't seen it yet, I don't think. No, I haven't. So this is very new, very cool. So we're going to go ahead and put this down here like this to say that this is completed. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'm going to put this underneath the quest arc now. Just say that that is totally out of the way. And next up is a brand new quest. So what I'll also do is I'm going to remove the quest off the board because we're going to likely need this token for the new quest that's coming out right now. And this is a survival quest. It says another 1 success is required. It says a local lord has organized a tournament to find heroes worthy of opposing the growing undead menace. You may test your mettle in feats of strength, agility, and fortitude. The Brute. So if we had the Brute in play, then we could do something else that's kind of cool with this. But in this particular case, and actually, you know what? You know what I'm going to do, guys? Even though I said I didn't have to roll for this, I'm going to roll anyway. And the reason is because if I happen to land a critical success in my navigate, I can gain an additional +1 on my summoner, and I don't want to miss out on that. So I'm going to roll that die, because you should never, even if you succeed like I just did on one, you should always both roll, or every character that's going after the quest should roll, because if you do land that critical, you can miss out on something really good or throw their dice off the table. Okay, I got a 5, so it didn't matter anyway, but I thought I'd do it and just show you in case I got really lucky and things panned out. So now I'll take this, put this underneath the quest arc where it was, and we fully resolved that. Back to this survival one here. So again, we just have to go ahead to this location, and it's currently on the J tile, and I don't think we have the J tile out. We have the L, G, and H. Ah, man, that's too bad. So this one we can't even do. So this now puts a big hold on our plans to complete the quest arc, because the last quest we need to complete in order to cash the whole thing in, we don't have the tile for, and we're on the wrong side of the board. It's going to take quite a bit of time to journey to the other side. So that kind of puts a wrench into our plans, but regardless, we are now finished, I should say, the event phase. And so because of this, when completing our quest, which we did here, we're going to be moving to the Dead King phase. So the Dead King is going to move right now. So it's a very sad day in the land. The Dead King has made its way to his second target, and with that movement, because he has a movement of 2 and only needed 1, he has successfully, and what I'm doing now is just taking the target token away, because he'll be retargeting in a subsequent turn. But as of right now, he has now taken over city number 2, and this is his second city that he's taken in the land. And now going into the next turn, he is going to, and we'll see this on the next round, he's going to target his next city to go after. So this is also going to change how fast he moves. He is now moving at a speed of 3. So things are getting not so good for us, because if he's not going towards a city, well, I should say, if he's going towards a city that's close by to him, and in this particular case, in terms of cities left on the map, I guess if he's going to the middle, that would be bad. If he's going to these two, it gives us a little bit of time. So we are going to have to get ourselves to a shrine in order to get a talisman, and we need to get money. And right now the summoner already has the 8 gold. We only need 4 from each hero, but the summoner's got tons of coin. The guardian needs some money, and then we can head there. But regardless, that's something we need to think about now, especially with our quest arc having kind of thrown a curveball at us. The other thing we need to do is we need to move the black market token. That's this token right here, and we need to move this because this is the end of the very first round it's ever been in the game. So we're going to take a hex die, we're going to roll it to figure out which way it's going to move, and then we're going to roll again to figure out how far it's going to move. Now, the cool thing about the black market is it can actually move off the game board, and if it does, we reveal a tile for it. So it can actually kind of help us to find some of the tiles we need to find. So if we happen to get super lucky and we find J, maybe that's an option again. But for now, we don't know where it's going to go, and this is going to help us find out. So if we got a 5, so 5 is going to actually send it, oh, that's actually perfect. That's going to send it northwest, and that's actually a fairly short route. So let's go ahead and find out how far along or northwest that we're going to be going here. Did I say southwest? I meant northwest. My apologies. 1. Okay, so that's not exactly the die we want, or not exactly the roll we wanted. So he has moved here now. So he's not, I was hoping to get like a 3, 4, 5, and maybe, or actually a 4, 5, 6 is what I wanted, because then he'd be off the map. We'd have to pull a tile and maybe we'd find J, but that didn't really work out. So it is what it is, and that completes the first round of this particular video. Moving on to round number 2. So I've already decided what I'd like to do, and I'm going to head towards a shrine. So the shrine just happens to be only 2 spaces away from where our party currently is. So I'm going to move cautiously 2 spaces here, which is only going to have to make us roll our explore die and survival die. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the green die, because we're not rolling for navigation when we're moving cautiously. So we'll take both these dice, we'll give them a roll, see what we get. A 2 and an 8, okay? And then we'll come over here to the summoner. We're going to grab these 2, roll them off. 9 and a 5. All right, let's see how this thing panned out. So we'll start out with the yellow die for 2, and we actually did succeed. Now, also remember, guys, we have the helpful commoner with us, and because we have the helpful commoner, if I can get this card without destroying it, this one right here says the group gains -1 to all skill roll results, while the helpful commoner remains in the group. Bonus affects any skill roll, any. So we actually, well, we've hit that even better because technically that would be a 1. So actually, now that I think about that, I'm wondering if this makes this a -1, would that make it a hex then? I would assume that it would, and if that's the case, let's go ahead and take the advantage of the hex here. So in this particular case, we find a great place to camp and we gain a lost health. Well, that's not going to help us, so we'll just move along. But what is going to help us is we're going to gain 2 gold, because that's what happens when you actually successfully roll your explore die. But we also have the wonderful enhancifier, which is going to bump our Guardian's gold from 1 to a total of 5, because 4 is what we just found. So there we go. We're up to 5, which is perfect because you know what we can buy now? At the shrine, a talisman. Perfect, which is exactly what I was hoping would work out, and it did. So now we're going to come over here to the summoner who rolled a 9. -1 is an 8. That's not going to pass, so that fails. Come back over here for food. That's an 8. -1 is a 7. Still underneath, so we failed that check. So we do have to consume some food. So we're going to consume 1 food on our party here, or on our guardian, Clarissa. We're going to come over here to the summoner who rolled a 5, and a 5 is under the survival of 2. So I'm going to have to consume 2 food based on my food rating. So we'll go ahead and knock 2 off here. There we go. So even though we moved cautiously, which we moved 2 spaces here, normally moving cautiously says that you would be able to pull a circumstance, or you would go through the circumstance phase, but you could discard the card that you get. However, if you end your turn in a shrine, which we did, then we skip the circumstance phase. So we're going to go ahead and skip that phase and move right to the event. So if we're moving right to the event, we are inside the shrine, and we can go right like this, and when you see at the very top, it says skip the circumstance phase upon entering a shrine. So we just did that. Heroes heal 1 condition and all lost health and energy while staying in a shrine for free. We don't have to do any of that because we have no damage taken on us yet. Heroes may purchase items from the shrine. It says items, so we can purchase as many as we can get. The group may turn in a single quest each game turn. Okay, well, we don't have any, except for the one that's part of the quest arc, but we cannot do that until we finish the other part of the quest arc. So now we just come to the items and really just what we want to pick up. So what we're going to do, obviously, because that's what we're here for, is the talisman. So it says here there's an asterisk after it. It says this item may be used in combat by performing the defense action. It says this item is used to free a fallen city, and we need to spend 4 per hero to gain it. So let's go ahead and do that right off the top, because that was the main goal, was to get to a shrine and get one of these things. So we're going to drop the gold from 5 down to a 1. So I don't have very much here for the for Clarissa, our guardian. And then we're going to come over here to the summoner, who has a little bit more to spend with 8, and drop it down to 4. So we may be able to purchase something else with the summoner if there's something else worth purchasing. Let's take a look here, because there's also these things called blessings. It says blessings are special bonuses that the group earns when they camp. Spend 1 game turn in a shrine. They cost no gold and remain with the group throughout the rest of the game. Each shrine offers only 1 blessing, obtain only once. The group may only be affected by 1 blessing at a time. Okay. So we currently are in which shrine? We are in shrine number 2. What is that going to give us? That's going to give us the Blessing of Haste. So the blessing increased the group's movement rate by 1 hex per turn, includes moving cautiously. Oh, wow. This movement increases stacks with any other movement modifiers. Wow, that's really good. So if we decide to camp out on this next turn coming up, which might be worth it, because even if the Dead King happens to target this, which we don't know yet, but we'll find out at the end of this turn, I think even if we camped here for a round, we could still get to this city quicker than he could get to this city, because he's only going to move 3 at a time. So it's going to take him at least 3 rounds to get to that next city and take it down. And I think having that extra move is really going to be in a good advantage for us, especially when we can do that moving cautiously. That's going to give our hero movement a boost to 6 when we move normally and 3 when we move cautiously. And that's a blessing I can live with. So we may do that. We may camp. But you know what? I'll probably end up leaving that for you guys to help me decide. But anyway, we have now got our talisman. We paid for it. So let's go ahead and actually mark off on the talisman acquired here. It says 1 available per shrine. We've got the number 2 one. So we're going to go ahead and just put an X through it to say that we got that one. And we can now use that when we go to the city, which we will do in the next episode. So that's going to basically wrap it up, but we still have to move on to the Dead King's turn. So the Dead King now has last taken the Fallen City up here, number 2, which I don't think we actually named off, and it might be kind of fun to find out what that city was. Number 2 was Dragon's Port. This is a port where we can get exotic maps for 3 gold. It looks like it was a seedy port with a large, and is largely concerned with himself, or there's a person there called Baron, Laswell, who runs it, and despite this fact, many valuable goods arrive each day. So it's a port right on the edge. Makes sense because there's a lot of water up there, but no longer is that a city we can visit until we reclaim it. So the Dead King is going to target a new city. So we're going to go ahead with the target token here, and he's going to roll continuously until he gets a number that he hasn't attacked yet. So here we go. Really the only options currently on the board, if I'm not mistaken, are, yeah, I guess it's Hex, 5, and 4. Unless I'm missing something here. He's taken 1, he's taken 2. Oh, there's 3 too. I just don't know, it must be covering it or something. Where is it? Oh, yes, is it up here? Yes, it's up there. That's where it was. Okay, here we go. You got a Hex. Oh, man, and I even called it. I probably shouldn't have said anything. He is going to the shortest route. That's really unfortunate, because I would have preferred him to go to... I don't know what the odds were on that, but man, he could have gone anywhere else. So that's happened now. Now the next thing we're going to do is move the black market. We're going to roll a die for that as well to figure out the direction. So it's moving in a northeast direction, so it'll be heading this way. How many spaces will the black market be moving? 3 spaces. So the black market has now moved from its location right here, 1, 2, 3, way off into the icy portions of the world that have also caused mass destruction by causing an earthquake across the world. And there we go. So everything's all bundled up in there now. So the black market is definitely getting away from us. Maybe it's being drawn by the evil presence of the Dead King. But that's essentially going to wrap it up. So that's where we're going to end it. This is after 2 full rounds of play. This was actually a really, really productive round. We got ourselves not only a fantastic group purchase, but we also managed to get ourselves a talisman, which is going to help us hopefully reclaim this city right here, which was the very first one that the Dead King ever took. The Dead King now is targeting our central city, and we really need to stop him from gaining so much movement. So we need to basically reduce his movement as quick as we can. So we're looking to be in quite the battle going into the next one. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. And if there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next part of HEXplore It, Valley of the Dead King. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.